All right, it is the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas. Now you might be saying it's way too early for Christmas, but if you are a seller on eBay and Amazon, now is actually the best time to start preparing for it. So what's up, Paul here from dropshippingtitans.com, and in the festive spirit, in this video, I'm going to cover the 12, not days of Christmas, but the 12 tips for Christmas / Q4. So before we get into that, if you guys are interested in learning more about dropshipping, I am hosting a webinar that you can check out. That will be linked up down below. But let's get into tip number 1 here, which is about Halloween. Most people, when they think about Q4, they completely forget about Halloween. But technically, Halloween is a part of Q4. And it is still an important holiday for you to prepare for as an eBay and Amazon or Amazon seller. Because here in the United States, people spend a lot of money on Halloween decorations and Halloween costumes. And you can tap into that. You can get a share of that market. So towards the end of September, in the first 3 weeks of October, I would definitely be listing Halloween decorations. They do so well. People love to buy them. They love decorating their homes. So you should definitely be listing those items up. Now, one tip I have for you, a bonus tip here, is when you list those items, try to tag them on your repricing software with the word Halloween so that you can easily find them after Halloween's over and delete them from your store. You don't really need them after Halloween is over. So that's my tip number 1. Do not forget about Halloween. It is a huge moneymaker for us online sellers. Now, tip number 2 I have for you is for Thanksgiving. Believe it or not, people do buy a fairly decent amount of Thanksgiving decorations. Not a ton, but they do buy things for it. So about 1 week before Halloween, we stop listing up for sale Halloween items because with only a week to go, it doesn't make sense to continue to list those items. And that's when we start listing Thanksgiving items. Again, when we list them, we're going to tag them with the word Thanksgiving so we can easily delete them later. And we generally list those items for only about 2 weeks, for the last week of October and the first week in November. And because it's not a huge holiday that people buy a lot of decorations for, but there are some items we do want to throw up into our store. So that would be my second recommendation. The second tip is make sure you are taking advantage of Thanksgiving as well. Now, my third tip for you is when you should start listing up Christmas items, and that's going to be right when you finish listing up Thanksgiving items. So the second week in November at the latest. You could even do it early November. List up Christmas stuff because come Black Friday at the end of November, people want their decorations ready by then, and you want to have enough items in your store so that on Black Friday, there's a huge variety of items for people to choose from when they're trying to buy gifts for their loved ones. So that's my tip number 3, around early November, the first week, second week at the latest, good time to list up the decorations. And my next tip for you, the 4th tip, I kind of just went over as well. That's also a good time to list up toys and other items that people are going to buy as presents after Black Friday. Now, the other thing I want to add in here for tip number 4 is that a lot of items that you wouldn't think of as gifts, people still buy as gifts. So I sell a lot of home improvement items, a lot of tools, and those items also sell even better during Q4 after Black Friday because people do buy them as gifts. So don't think that you have to list up for sale a lot of toys that you know people are going to buy for their kids, because people are still going to buy the other items. In general, we find that during Q4, people buy the same things they buy all year, but more of them. So it's actually better to list up for sale those items that are going to sell all year long, but are just going to sell better during the holiday season. Now, tip number 5 that I have for you is to make sure you have enough virtual assistants to help you run your business. So right now, you know what your sales are. You know what your sales volume is. Come quarter four, it will increase. And you want to make sure that you have virtual assistants hired and trained now so that come quarter four, they are ready to hit the ground running and ready to help you maximize your profit and sales during that time period. Don't wait to do this later. Now is actually the best time to do it, a couple of months before quarter four, really before Black Friday really starts. Now, tip number 6 that I have for you is to really concentrate during quarter four on moving your items, your inventory quickly. So when you get an order, you want to be placing orders multiple times a day. So you clear out all your new orders multiple times a day because prices do fluctuate during quarter four. Stock does also fluctuate very fast during quarter four. So you want to make sure that you're moving that inventory, so to speak, those orders through really, really quickly so that you don't find yourself in a position where you are trying to fulfill an order, but the item has gone out of stock or the price has changed. Really during this time period, one of the keys is to sell a large volume, even if it means at a smaller price, which I'll talk about in one of the next tips. So tip number 7 now is to make sure that all your systems are in place now. So if you're thinking about switching to a new repricing software, if you're thinking about changing your process for fulfilling orders, now is the time, well before Black Friday, is the time to put those systems in place to make sure they're perfect before Black Friday comes. Because once it does, you don't want to be in a place where you're trying something new, trying a system that might not work. You want to have everything in place, ready to go by Black Friday. So don't be trying something new during quarter four. Tip number 8 I have for you is to lower your margins. Like I mentioned before, this time of year is all about volume. So you really want to concentrate on selling more, even if it's at less of a margin, because overall you will make more. Now, to some degree, this is helped out by the fact that your suppliers are going to put all their items on sale. So you don't even necessarily have to lower your margin at all, or even by very much, because the prices of the items are already going to drop when the supplier puts the items on sale. And customers will love that. They'll see, oh my gosh, this item that I've been watching has suddenly dropped in price by a lot. And you can then sell it at pretty much the same margin and still make a profit. So I think I kind of misspoke in the beginning. I said lower your margins. I really meant lower your prices, because once you lower the prices, that's what drives the sale. And you can do that without really lowering your margins all that much. So the 9th tip that I have for you is about price matching. During this time of year, a lot of retailers are trying to undercut each other with their prices. And a lot of them will match competitors' prices. So take advantage of that. Try to tell the supplier, hey, I know you're selling for this much, but this other website's selling for less. Will you match that price? And a lot of them will. In addition to that, if you bought an item in the past with some websites and it later goes down in price, those websites will sometimes match their new price and give you a refund or partial refund for the item you bought before. Not every retailer does that, but look into whether the ones you do that, and then you can make some extra money that way as well. Tip number 10 that I have for you are coupons and just in general other sales. These are things you want to be looking out for. There will be promos that these companies run. There will be coupons that they put out. There will be sales that are going on. Pay attention to all of that, because anytime they have a sale, it means that you have a sale. And if you can get those coupons, that means you can make more money when you sell the item on eBay or Amazon. So tip number 11 that I have for you is to mentally prepare for quarter four. It is a crazy time of the year. You are going to be ecstatic when you see how much of an increase in sales that you get, but you have to be mentally ready for it. Some people, they kind of give up and they close their stores a couple weeks before Christmas. I don't think you need to do that. I love to make hay while the sun shines, right? If things are good, you want to try to make as much money during that time period as you can. So you got to be focused, you got to be prepared, rest up now so that during Q4, you can give it everything you've got to get all those orders out, to provide great customer service so that everything runs smoothly and you make as much cheddar as possible. And that brings me to the last tip, tip number 12, and that is to set a goal for yourself. We should all be setting goals for what type of sales volume we want to see, how much in profit we want to make. So make sure to write that down somewhere and keep that in mind. Keep yourself focused on that. No matter what roadblocks get in your way, you're just going to keep pushing past them because you have that attainable goal that you've set for yourself. With that said, leave a comment down below letting me know what your goal is for Q4, either in profit or sales volume, or even if it's just, I want to survive it or I want to experience it for the first time. That's a great goal as well. Just put it down below. Now, the best goals are goals that can be measured. So make sure that it's an exact number. The other thing you want to make sure is that it's actually attainable. I like to stretch myself a little bit. I could say, I know without a doubt I could do $10,000 in profit during the month of December, without a doubt. And $15,000 isn't a stretch either. $20,000, that's a bit of a stretch maybe. So with $20,000, that's a good goal because it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's still attainable, right? And those are good goals to have because you get far enough along so it motivates you, but you're not like so far away from reaching your goal that it kind of like brings you down. You're like, oh man, that stinks. I didn't get anywhere close to my goal. So make sure it's an exact number and make sure it's something that stretches you, but is still attainable. All right, guys, so those are my 12 tips for Christmas/Q4. If you got any value out of this, make sure to smash that like button. And then what I want you to do is get started right now. Start implementing these strategies. If you're watching this the day I release it, that means you should be putting up for sale Halloween items and starting to think about Thanksgiving and Christmas already. Consider subscribing to the channel for more tips and tricks about eBay and Amazon dropshipping. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.